It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be among you. It's an honor to have had the opportunity to make this donation. Shelley tells me that this is going to go to schools in the region. It's going to be so powerful for children to see. It's especially important at this time when anti-Semitism is on the rise. And I really want to congratulate all of you because the conference is just so important, and I'm so proud to be among you. Why were these photographs taken in the first place? Dove and I work for this rather remarkable company which plan museums all over the world. 10 years ago, it's really a very important day to remember, Canada was the only Western country that did not have a Holocaust memorial. I don't know if you're aware of this. 10 years ago, the Conservative government of the time passed a piece of legislation which is extremely important, which was to create the Holocaust Monument in Ottawa. And I don't know, could I ask if any of you have been there? Oh, very, very nice to hear that you have. And I'm sure that you will all at some point go. It's located near the War Museum. So that legislation was passed 10 years ago. And then 5 years ago, practically to the month, the Holocaust Memorial was in fact inaugurated, built, and finished and completed. And Dove was the project manager of the project. We were, in a way, the originators of the project. And to do the project, we won an international competition. And so the idea of the monument is really very interesting. I think you will all love to see it. Maybe winter's not the best time, to be frank with you, in Ottawa. But the idea of the monument, it is a place, it's like a museum without a ceiling. It's a monument. You go through it. It's a huge experience. The architect is Daniel Liebeskind. I think many of you will know this name. He's a very great architect. The artist we chose was Ed Burtynsky, who I think it's very symbolically important, is Ukrainian by descent and identity. And he said to me when we brought him onto the project, he said, "Gail, I only know the Holodomor. I don't know anything about the Holocaust." So this was a real, when you see the passion of these photographs and you think of today being Ukrainian, I think many of us, personally my family came from Odessa. It was basically a Jewish city. I'm sure I have many relatives here as a result of that. That our feelings about what's going on in Ukraine are rather intense, let's put it that way. We won that competition, and the simple idea that we won with, and there were Holocaust survivors on the jury, was because the Holocaust did not happen here. We have the story, none is too many, Jews were excluded. I think everybody in this room knows about anti-Semitism in our own country. We wanted to focus on landscape. And you'll see that all these pictures have in common landscape. Why? As Canadians, we're fixated with landscape. We somehow believe that landscape tells the truth. But if you go to Eastern Europe, you see that the landscape hides the truth. It hides the truth of what really happened. And so we came up with this idea that Ed should make a pilgrimage to those sites and photograph the sites of the Holocaust, sites of murder, genocide, as they are today. And that is kind of the idea. Dove is going to pick 3 pictures to tell you about, and then I hope you will all go and visit this monument. It's extremely important, and something as Canadians I think we should all be proud of. So I introduce Dove Goldstein. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. So I had the privilege of traveling with Ed about 6 years ago across 6 countries, from Germany to Poland to Lithuania to Hungary, to document these landscapes that most people wouldn't even have recognized. We work with historians, Holocaust historians, to find sites that aren't the most recognizable, that have been covered over with time, hidden, the atrocities hidden by time and by nature. It was an incredible trip. We weren't alone. We traveled with Ed and a whole team of drone operators and front people that could have to go to the sites in advance, local historians, one from Canada, one from Poland, that would take us to the various sites to document these incredible images. It was a very emotional trip. It was a powerful trip. But the images that really, and we've been through all these, there's many more, 6 of them were chosen for the monument that were actually hand painted onto the monument. And I'll tell you about that in a moment. But, some of these images are, emblazoned in your memory growing up, of course. Holocaust is embedded in your consciousness, and the sites of like Auschwitz and the fence posts are all recognizable. But the ones that are most powerful, to me, the ones that really stood out are the ones that are so seemingly so benign. And I just want to point some out toward the end. The one on the far wall, last one to the right, is a pond, is a man-made pond, but really that pond was an ash pond from the crematorium at Auschwitz. But when you go there, it just is part of nature. The next image is the one to the right with a tree. Beautiful bucolic setting in Linz, just outside Linz, Austria. A beautiful road, and it was very hard to find. The historian showed us the sites, but that beautiful road with the sunset in the background and the mountains was a death march, was the site of a death march. So some of the most horrific atrocities that happened in the Holocaust happened in these sites that people don't even know about. And the third one is the one to the right of that one, which is a forest, a seemingly ordinary forest that happens to be the train tracks, the old train tracks that led to Treblinka. So, and actually that image in particular is at the monument, 40 feet high, hand-painted photograph on the monument, huge, and it's quite important, quite powerful. So I invite everyone who hasn't seen the monument, please do, because it's incredible. You can see these images huge, and I want to thank everyone for coming, and have a good evening. Take care.